Good day, this is episode 2 of our art book reviews. I thought it might be nice to go with a classic series from my childhood, and that's Ratchet and Clank. This came out in 2018 at £30 and $40. So I've just had a look on the internet, and for some reason it's now £180. That's unusual, especially for a Dark Horse one, which this is. This was originally when I got this, I was worried it was just going to be the PS5 or 4 was it remake of the original game, but thankfully it's not. This is a celebration of the early games, supposed to be the first 15 years. Although it misses when it missed out to the PSP games. So this for me would be a very low tier 4, and that is simply, I'll show you, I guess. I'll start with one of the major positives I like about this art book, though, is you get a bit of an introduction about why I decided to do the Ratchet and Clank series after doing Spyro. And then the very early ideas they were throwing around about what character to use, how to do it, and that's always quite cool, because not often enough they talk about that. So I do like that. And then we see early designs of Ratchet, and we get a bit of designs of Clank. I was gonna say Crank for some reason there. So the one major negative for me, because it's trying to cover so many games, you go, here's weapons, and that's it. You just get 2 pages, well, not even 2 pages really, of some really cool concept art and sketches for some of the weapons for the first game, then it's straight onto the second game. We've got these renders, and onto the third game, which always keeps throwing me because obviously European versions were different named to the American ones, because it's Gladiator rather than Deadlocked. So you get this nice bit, and that's it. Like for Deadlocked, that's all you're getting. It's just the armor and this one weapon. Tool destruction. This is something that I find quite disappointing. I'd love to get a proper breakdown of the PS2 games, because that was my childhood, and they were my. I loved the PS2 games. I completed them several times. The Blu-ray generation doesn't really hold its weight to me. Just they're not as good. But I do love we're getting all these like fans. This one there could be more details into this. So I'm giving this a low tier 4 due to the level of depth you get in the breakdown of the sketches and how they got to certain points, but it obviously loses points for the lack of descriptions about why they chose one side over the other. So maybe you could consider this maybe a high tier 3 rather than a low tier 4. I would say it's kind of on the border there, a bit like the Assassin's Creed one. Let's skip ahead a little bit. We do get some of the world stuff, which is really nice, getting these sketches of the early planets. Planets are very memorable if you are a big Ratchet and Clank series fan. Their worlds are always quite nicely detailed. But again, we're getting like one planet. You know, it's like a game there. Yeah, a couple planets for that game. It's a bit disappointing if you're wanting a specific game. If it's like let's say if you're like me and the original trilogy holds a lot for you, and maybe Gladiator in there as well. You're only getting a fraction of the book then dedicated to that, which is one of its weak spots. I mean, if they wanted to, it'd probably be ridiculously big if they wanted to put everything in. I know that, but maybe they should have done less games into one book. I don't know. Let's try to skip a little bit ahead here. We got Into Nexus there, which actually was quite a good one. I'll give him that. Into Nexus was a good one. To get a bit of early designs for the some of the villains, but then again, it's like Light Commander, just one design done. Captain Quark, very evil looking early on. It would sometimes be nice a bit more description about why they went for one decision over. Angela Cross. Is she a long box or is she? She has no tail. We're sorry to our fans about this one. Seriously, a minute. Yeah. Really should bring it back, guys. Really. I mean, you keep introducing other side characters who are far less well written and far less interesting. At least for me, her character was actually quite well sculpted. The personality felt very more real compared to some of the other ones. But you know, I don't know, I'm not the only person who thinks that. I do love they actually cram some of these pages in. But it does seem weird why some enemies or characters that get far more love than others. I mean, Dr. Nefarious is a villain in multiple games. So you would have thought he would get at least a double spread of the different ways they designed him. But I guess at that point he probably wasn't in multiple games, was he really? Ugh, all blends into one at this point. Skip ahead a little bit. See more of the creature designs, characters. It does seem a bit flick between who gets more love and who doesn't. I'll tell you another character who just seemed to come and disappear. Also, Ratchet's girlfriend. When was that established? Well, she got the same treatment as blooming Angela Cross did, didn't she? She was sidelined very quickly. Oy oy. Is that just an art book thing that they've just said that in an art book? Because I know I've got other books where the art book says one thing, it's actually not the case. So, what I would say for a hardcore Ratchet and Clank fan like me, who you've grown up with it or something, this is quite cool just to see bits, but it makes you wanting more. That's the only problem I've got here. And this is the only art book Ratchet and Clank's ever done, to my knowledge. The one benefit I guess you got is, other than like I think the latest game, all the games have the museum that you can unlock, and they give you quite a bit of insight into the game's development, I guess, and there's sometimes a bit of descriptions in there, so I guess if you combine the two you get quite a bit of background detail. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a very good art book, but at the same time it makes you leaves you wanting more about the various games, like the first ones, or hell, even like this hefty book, the initial descriptions of why they didn't go with a certain character design for, like, hey, why didn't they go with this lady with the stick? Don't know, it doesn't say, but that would have been quite nice to know. So my final review of this one is, I guess, well, I won't pay 180 quid for it. If you can find it at the original, like around about the original retail price, which is 30 quid, $40, and you are a big fan of Ratchet and Clank, I definitely would recommend it. Though it is now, I just want them to release their more Ratchet and Clank art books, but more specifically about early development and the early games and bits about certain decisions they made. But I digress. Alright. Until next time, goodbye.